to ensure that no one reneges on contracts. That would help. I just point out a couple more. One is that we have talked a lot about staple crop processing zones. I think what should precede it is staple crop production zones in which the infrastructure is readily provided. I guess the other issues have already been highlighted, and short of elbowing me out here from here, I'd just like to pause and turn it back to.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry I appear to have been rushing you. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to really mean to rush you. I wish we had more time. We thought we had 1.5 hours, obviously because we're running late generally. We sort of rushing now a little bit. So I want to thank the entire membership of this panel for the various viewpoints they brought to the table. What I think we'll do, I've asked them to give us a little bit more time, not quite as long as we had hoped, but they've agreed to grant us a little bit more time. This is a very interesting session, as obviously you can see from our panelists. What I would like to do is to ask the audience to go straight to the point, raise issues specifically, either addressed to individual members of the panel or perhaps some general things that could be cross-cutting to some of the members who are here. And we're going to be very strict. We want people to speak directly to the issue. If it's a question, straight to the question, not more than, between 30 seconds and 45 seconds. It's a question. You know how it is, when you write these exams, straightforward, the questions are there. I'd like us to adopt that approach, please, so that we can actually have a very brief reaction to wind up. We will take from this middle section, we take 2 questions, 2 from here. I see one hand over there. We'll take about 6 questions. 2, we'll take all of them, and then we'll get the panelists to respond. Is that a lady there? Ladies first, please. Give her the microphone.
Thank you so much for the session. It has been highly revealing.
I'll manage it. Okay.
My question is for the DG who moderated the session and for the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. I don't think from everything they've said that there's a shortage of incentives. What the problem appears to be is that the incentives are there, but in the implementation of those incentives, we run into difficulties. Therefore, my question is, what is going to happen after this to try to address, what is clearly a case of the C word that none of us wants to talk about? Corruption.
What's going to happen to what? CET? Oh, thank you very much. Let's move move to the right-hand side to make sure we have a fair distribution. If we have time, we'll go back the second round. So give it to the gentleman who is raising here. Oh, is that a lady there? Oh, dear.
Thank you.
Where are the men?
We have cooperatives already set up. We have about 5,000 cooperatives with a minimum of 10 people. We're nationwide. The Eastern women, in terms of this, want to do ready-to-eat soups. And they have decided on what should be packaged wet and what should be packaged dry. They've come up with the ingredients, and what I would ask is, where do they move on from there? This is their own thought process of how to protect some of the perishable goods. Thank you.
Thank you. That's short and sweet. To the right-hand side, hopefully a man this time around. You're an endangered species. To the right, to my right here. Yes, please. Is there a man there in the house? Oh my God.
Right.
All right. Let's give to the. Oh, there's a man here. There is a man. Please. At last.
Very quickly, my name is Ayo Lagundoye. I'm chairman of Rubber Estates Nigeria.
And Mr. Oyebode had spoken to most of the issues that we have. My question,
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
the point I want to make is really for the moderator and the Minister of Finance and Minister of Agriculture. The issue of land tenure is a problem. But the other way we try to expand is by building the outgrower scheme, to have a lot of small growers that provide rubber to us. We have a 30,000-ton factory, and we produce 20,000. So rather than invest in new farms, if we can get a lot of these young people to be outgrowers. Now, we have found the kind of money that's needed. As you know, it takes 7 years to grow rubber. So you can't convince anyone to simply sit there for 7 years with his own money. We need the coordination of the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Finance, and of course, the Budget Office. Because we have a situation where the French Agency for Development, for instance, is willing to give 17-year money for this. But they can only give it to the state government.
We need now to begin to...
So very quickly,
yes.
In order to get the banks involved, we need these three groups to figure out a way of creating the environment for the banks to be able to give money to these small growers, which right now will be very, very difficult. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to, I really want my panelists to answer some of the questions very briefly. We are rounding up now. I'm sorry we really have run out of time. I thought we'd be able to do 6 questions, but we obviously cannot do so at this moment. So I'm going to give half a minute to anybody here who wants to address any of the questions, even including the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, because I see that questions were raised concerning him. But I would prefer that we start with our panelists here. Anybody want to volunteer to...
Let me answer one.
Yes, please go ahead.
To the lady who answered the question, the time to implement those things is now. It's not later, it's now. The rule of law needs to be enforced in the country, and we need to be able to put, as people that come and invest, and for the local farmers here, they need the backing of the government and the rule of law enforced so we don't have to put up with the garbage coming through the ports and coming through all the demands that come along. That will grow your economy extensively, fast, quick. There's people all over the world who would love to come and invest in Nigeria, but they are stopped because of the corruption that follows you everywhere you go.
And it is now because...
Go ahead.
Yes, I believe it is now, but the one that we need to do and do quickly, which happens to be possibly the most important, to agribusiness, is funding.
Okay.
There is no way you can do agribusiness with more than 4%, especially in the agriculture. The other, on the chain, you can do better.
Thank you. The point is well taken.
Tariff regimes.
Tariff regimes? Yeah. Well, we already have that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to bring this to a close at this point. Apologize. I know people still wanted to say things, but I think that you'll have other opportunities. What I've heard here, we've talked about infrastructure, we've talked about delays in ports, policy consistency, implementation of policies once they've been put in place. We heard of financing, which has just been repeated now, land policy, especially at the levels of state governments, capacity building, multiple taxation, and some of the other things that are, revolve around these types of issues. Clearly, if you look carefully, you will see government is tackling a good number of them. We're not there yet, but we are moving in the right direction. We will take what you've said into account and bring this to the attention of the government. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, and God bless you.
Well, thank you very much. Please, very quickly, the group photograph. For the audience, we just remain on our seats so that we don't congest the stage. The participants for the next session are already set. I'd like to invite the honorable ministers and the chairman of the board to join them very quickly for the group photograph.
It's a new dawn in Africa, and our enormous potential and opportunities are being harnessed by One Bank. One Bank stands strong as the bank of choice for Africans and Africa-related businesses. UBA, with a fast-growing presence across Africa and in key global financial centers. UBA